for exchanging not only our views, but our ethos and our familiarity, and also our pledge to take urban flood, livestock, and animal safety at the core of our preparedness. Thank you, Ruben.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ghosh. I think I will quickly, while we have people joining us, usually we used to start our sessions at 2:30, but
Yeah.
now that we are, I would like to share it with our attendees. The NIDM has moved into a bigger and a plusher office in Delhi. So, which is and I congratulate NIDM for the new office they've come up with. So now the timings for the OTPs there are two slots. One which starts in the morning, and the afternoon slot where usually we conduct our OTPs and our e-conclaves is at 2 o'clock. So I think a lot of people are because we've done series of webinars and OTPs in the past. So 2:30 has been our standard time. But this time it's 2 o'clock, and I know we are almost we'll be soon touching the 100 mark. I think we can wait for a few minutes because we are just we're just at 2 o'clock right now. I would also request first of all, I would like to thank also my dear colleagues who while we were signing in, as recent as 10 minutes back, we were on a call where we were discussing and trying to arrange something as basic as oxygen for our near and dear ones. So we found a contact where some refills were happening. So amidst all of this, we are still before time we have signed in onto the OTP. I think this sends a very strong message to the entire community, and we're proud to be. I'm personally proud to be a part of this team, where we have Akhil Gupta, we have Menak Majumdar, Varun Sharma. All of us are here, and I'm sure if their videos are right now switched off, or but they are listening, and they might be on a phone call attending their relatives or friends or family and trying to help them. Because at FICCI, for our FICCI employees, we had Dr. Ghosh will be happy that we have created a SOP under the guidance and chairmanship of General Bhardwaj of SOPs for testing and for hospitalization, because there are a lot of crises. People are going here and there. So General Bhardwaj and Dr. Muzaffar Ahmad, they're helping. They've been kind enough to share their mobile numbers to speak to be able to be available to all FICCI employees for themselves and for their families in case of need.
Okay.
So testing and even hospitalization, even medicines. Some very critical life-saving injections like remdesivir and all of these. They are trying to help employees to get a hand on those. So so we were under a lot of we were personally under a lot of pressure, but we were even advised that you can postpone this one. I said we very well can postpone this, but as you, Dr. Ghosh, very clearly mentioned, that right now urban floods are distance away, but we have to be, if we are talking about preparedness, we have to be prepared about it today. We can't delay the preparedness. See, like we can't delay relief and rescue, same way we should not delay or should not postpone the preparedness efforts. I think they are as important. Mitigation efforts and preparedness efforts are as important as relief, rehabilitation, or rescue. So keeping that in mind, we thought we must go ahead, and looking at the response we will get, we will have more such initiatives for, as we move closer to the city related floods, when the monsoon comes, because our authorities would be busy dealing with COVID. There are chances that we might fall short of the resources to deal with these events. So keeping those scenarios in mind, we have to be prepared today. I think that was the idea. I would also request Varun to be in touch with General Bhardwaj. General Bhardwaj, sir, a true army man. He said, "Wow, I will be there at 3 o'clock." He's right now in a meeting. Advising because he was the man in charge when the bird flu and H1N1 came into India. He was a member NDMA, so he developed the national protocol to deal with that virus back then. With his experience, it is very useful. We have such people, such genius people, in our country, in our system, and we are very fortunate to have him as leader of our initiative at FICCI. He's the chairman of CIDM board. So all of these things put together, so we have touched the 100 mark.
Great.
Compliments to all the attendees who've taken out time to be a part of this initiative today. I think if Akhil can hear me, Akhil, can we quickly have the agenda on the screen before we move forward, so that we can just
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Rubab, I'm just
thank you, Akhil. We can
loading. Yeah, thank you.
announce the names of the speakers, and people, the attendees can also read their names, and they know what although they might have the program copy, but it would be good to read their names. And Professor Ghosh, if he wants to say a couple of lines about these speakers, because there's a lot of excitement amongst the attendees, and the seniority of these speakers who are joining us in next 3 days. It is simply amazing, and I did not expect. When we started off, we thought we might fall short of the quality which we always deliver, but thanks to all these great speakers, they agreed, and they said, well, this is part of their national duty to contribute to such training programs, and I think they are really fulfilling their duties in the best possible manner. My compliments and deepest gratitude to all the speakers who have agreed to be a part of this. Akhil, if we can move up. Yes, thank you. So General Bindal, he is he's not feeling too well, so he has regretted, and his blessings and best wishes are always with us. He's the reason why we are sitting on, I think, the 8th OTP. We've organized a dozen webinars, almost half a dozen e-conclaves with NIDM, and all under the leadership of Major Manoj Kumar Bindal. We wish him all the very best. Can we move down in this agenda, Akhil, please? We would have a detailed presentation by Dr. Chandan Ghosh, it would be like a lead lecture. He would set the perspective, give us the entire background of what we have. I think we've slipped to the 3rd day. Can we come back to the 1st day, please? And we have a presentation by Mr. Pranav Ghosh, who's the head safety at Adani Gas. And when we talk about Adani, one of the biggest, fastest growing private sector organization in the country today, we are very privileged and proud to have Mr. Pranav Ghosh, who is with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Ghosh, for joining us today. A very warm welcome. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much, Pranavji, for joining us. We have his presentation also today. He would be talking in detail how well the industries are prepared for such situations. On the 2nd day, we have a presentation by Mr. Gaurav Bansal, who's a senior advocate on NGT's role in urban drainage rules, regulations, and compensation for non-compliance of NGT directives. A very, very pertinent subject, and compliment to Dr. Ghosh. Having such people come to training program, I think this is where we add value to what we do. I think having people talking on the same, I'm not criticizing any other. We have also gone wrong. We've also fallen short of expectations sometimes. But having the legal perspective in a training program is so very important. I think this is a very exciting presentation which we'll have on the second day, that is tomorrow, by Mr. Gaurav Bansal. Then after Gaurav Bansal, Akhil, if you can move up.
Is it visible, Rubab, the second day? The agenda for the
Yes, it is. Yes. No. You have to
Scroll it.
scroll it back again. It is slipping out. The first day is visible right now. Can you go up? If the second day can come here, then we have Mr. YK Goba, the mutual core of Gateway Communications. Akhil, it's still not visible. So
yeah, so we have a presentation by Mr. YK Goba from on the day on the second day, and then following that we have a presentation by Mr. Bose Babu. He's from GSPL, CEO at GSPL India Transco Limited. So that there's some problem with the screen, I guess. I'm not able to scroll, so that is why I'm just taking it out from the.
and
Okay.
so Mr.
Moving on to day 3, Rubab, can you see the?
I can very well. I can, yes. So from the third day, we have Dr. Hari Prasad from the resilience expert, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United States, FAO, and we have Shri Akhilesh Srivastava, Indian IV operations, NHAI, and when you talk about flooding as a subject, all these stakeholders come to your mind, and fortunately, we've been able to have all of these in one online training program. Shri Gajendra Sharma, Country Director for World Animal Protection India, and something what we are very keen to discuss is the animal safety and livestock safety, which has a direct impact on the livelihoods. So that subject which we have taken up thanks to Dr. Ghosh, who's really very passionate about the subject, and we couldn't agree more on this, and that's why we have a senior leader from the vertical, Shri Gajendra Sharma, and really on the third day we'll have a presentation by Dr. Chandran Ghosh. Again, we'll be talking more in depth about this very subject. So I think we can move forward. Arun, if you could please be in touch with General Bhardwaj that at 3 o'clock, I think once we are through with the Professor Ghosh's presentation, we can have comments from normal comments from General Bhardwaj. Moving on to Sri Pranab Ghosh for his detailed presentation. So on that note, I think we are at 2:15, and I think it is time that we.
Okay.
We start with your permission, Dr. Ghosh.
Yeah. It is.
I hope my voice is not echoing. Akhil, I hope my voice is clear and not echoing.
No, it is clear.
Now it is okay.
Wonderful. Great. So, yes.
Okay.
I'll make a brief comment as an introduction comment for all the audience who joined us. We are almost touching the 125 mark, and the number is going up. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon again to all of us who joined us a little late, but this joint initiative between FICCI, CIDM, and NIDM is part of the series of online training programs which we've been organizing, especially during these COVID times. When we turned on to the virtual world to disseminate and information and to build capacities amongst all the stakeholders through virtual mode. And I think this partnership has gone between FICCI and CI and NIDM has gone from to great strengths. A lot of commonalities. The intentions were right. The intentions, people at the top level were like-minded. So both the organization came together, and I think we've done a decent job where we've built capacity amongst over 10,000 industry professionals, government officials, CSOs, the civil society organizations, academicians, students. All of them have been actively participating in all our initiatives, especially the online training programs, which is a certificate program. All the participants who have joined us, they have to attend all the 3 days of this OTP to be eligible for a certificate which will be issued. So please make sure you use the same email ID which you used today to sign in, because we would be tracking the attendance. The time you spend on the OTP also is tracked. So make sure you make the most of this opportunity that you have on this very subject. General Bhardwaj would be joining us, who's the chairman of CIDM, and on behalf of the FICCI Presidium and our Secretary General, I welcome you all. Disaster management is actually a subject of great urgency, which affects humankind. The sheer enormity of disaster and its irrevocable consequences for employees, stakeholders, and neighboring communities demands that every effort must be made to ensure and prevent both man-made and natural disasters. The scale and pace of urbanization in India is unprecedented. Cities, being engines of growth, are estimated to support more than 40% of the country's population by 2030. Heavy rains across the state of Maharashtra, including large areas of metropolis Mumbai, which received unprecedented rains on 26th of July 2005, created havoc, took a lot of lives. The day is still remembered as the day when Mumbai came to a standstill, the financial capital of the country. Mumbai's international airport remained closed for over 30 hours. Mumbai-Pune Express was closed for 24 hours, with public property loss was estimated at almost nearing $100 million. In 2016, Assam floods. Heavy rains in July-August resulted in floods affecting 1.8 million people and flooding the Kaziranga National Park, killing around 200 wild animals. And that's an estimated number. Every year, the floods affect over 9 states in India on an annual basis. Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat are the worst affected states. Flood modeling forms a vital part of understanding flood risk and hazards. This means undertaking the evaluation and design of flood mitigation solutions that address both current and potential future flood risk conditions. Flood modeling can also be used, can also provide flood forecasts, enabling communities to be prepared for and respond to impending danger. Using historical and real-time river rainfall and sea level data, alongside data that represent the physical environment, that is river and drainage networks, floodplains and structures, the likelihood and probability of flooding for a specific area can be assessed. In the month of July 2020, 9 rhinos are among the 108 wild animals killed during Assam floods in Assam's Kaziranga National Park and Tiger Reserve. However, active efforts by authorities aided in recovery of an exhausted rhino who had strayed on the national highway. So yes, there are plans in place to deal with animal safety, deal with livestock. When it comes to flooding in the urban areas, it is not only human lives which are dealt with, but there is more which needs to be done. It was August 2018, Kerala floods claimed lives of at least 10,000 livestock, according to Bangalore Mirror. The flood affected parts remains littered and waste and decomposed carcasses of animals and birds, giving out nauseating stench and making life more miserable. So causing problem even after they're dead, I think, to diseases, to other problems, water-related issues, was a big challenge. This online training program addresses the need for sensitization build capacities in creating awareness on urban flood resilient infrastructures, livestock and animal safety, which is jointly organized by the Cidm board at FICCI and NIDM. I would not take any longer. I know we have all the best experts from the country who are internationally known, who would be talking and sharing their thoughts, their knowledge, their wisdom with us over the next 3 days. I would now request our dear mentor, a very noble soul, ladies and gentlemen, a great personality, Professor Chandan Ghosh, who's the a senior professor who recently was with the IIT Jammu. He has some, the scientific mind which Professor Ghosh has. I think it's very unique and it's very rare, and it's honestly a treasure for a country like ours, which needs to nurture the scientists and scientific brain further to be better prepared to deal with any problems, any disasters, be it COVID, be it earthquake, be it cyclone, or urban flooding. We need people, in institutes like Professor Ghosh to take this mantle of taking it, further. Professor Chandan Ghosh, who's currently at the NIDM, which is part of Ministry of Home Affairs, since July 2006. He does research, training, capacity building for engineers, architects, planners, disaster resilient constructions, geosynthetics application, earth reinforcement, disaster mitigation and management, retrofitting, rapid visual screening, disaster documentation, bioengineering solutions by vetiver grass, which is a very interesting concept which he shares. It is first PhD from IIT Kanpur and second PhD from Ibaraki University, Japan. His current project is revising disaster management plan for CPWD establishment. Over to you, Professor Chandan Ghosh, your thoughts and your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Rubeb. Of course, it is our platform, but again, it is like, गंगा का पानी से गंगा को पूजा करना, हाँ? ऐसा नहीं, हम ना गंगा है ना गंगा का पानी है, कुछ नहीं. But we are all in the same boat, life boat, that we deal our own way. Only thing is that at this stressful state of the COVID, only what we are doing that whatever is that, जिंदगी का जो नाव चलाने के लिए, गति ठीक रखने के लिए, in whatever way that the fluttering of that it's fluttering that to continue in the using the proper wind or proper spirit that in our mind, and so mind as well as with our surroundings. But every time we are talking to people or trying to get people motivated, then sometime every day at least 10 to 15 times, even I myself feel somehow dejected, somehow, oh, now maybe COVID has come. Oh, that oximeter is here, that lying here. But of course, not to be panicked, not to lose the heart or mind and other things, supporting each other. So under this stressful condition, I think we have to proceed on as life has to continue. But when we see that when this earth where we are living, I'm going to present something, when it is moving at a speed of 2 lakh kilometers per hour around the sun, and on its own axis, it is moving 2000 kilometers on its own axis like this, like it is about 48,000 kilometers is the equatorial radius, and 24 hours makes a day. So which means in 24 hours, if someone is at the equator, which is just south of us near Sri Lanka, then 2000 kilometers per hour is the speed, circular speed that at which this earth is moving on its own axis in a day. It is 48,000. So, and when the same earth, along with all people, Himalaya or ocean and everyone moving around in an elliptical orbit around the sun in 365 days with so many kilometers, it comes that it is about 1 lakh kilometer per hour that it is moving. 1 lakh kilometer we cannot achieve with any of our engine or anything. So on that basis, there is nothing like absolute things. So on that basis, along with our biomandal or atmosphere, we are all moving. Now virus has come, we cannot handle it. But anyway, still we continue. Along with this, I can see Mr. Pranab Ghosh has joined over here. Let us welcome him from Adani Total Gas in Ahmedabad. While discussing with him, in fact, while conducting such things, we have got the opportunity to get connected with people, all stalwarts, like in this case, Pranab Ghosh Saab, जो है, while talking like he was in the evening, he says that, sir, can you please give me 10 minutes time because I have to go for buying something essential for the house. Then I will call you back because something, because it is going to be curfew period to start. Then immediately he called me after getting all these things around 8:30 in the night. Then we continued unstoppable. So again, you see, with mobile phone, hope that there will not be any such mutation in the virus that which will be able to transmit through mobile communication. So mobile communication still safe, but we have got a person over here tomorrow, YK Gawa, who is going to talk on this thing, that how to chase COVID virus on the aerosol, that how to chase them using some IoT devices. So he will be giving this description, that is whole life experience that he is going to share, and how to trace these things. And in fact, today I was talking about that RT-PCR test or even rapid antigen test. Those can be collected online through an IoT device, so that those can be checked, surveys, and surveillance can be kept on, that which virus, in which direction it is moving. So we are boiling with lots of idea when I got introduced with him just hardly 2 weeks back. So we'll see tomorrow the second lecture. And tomorrow, first lecture by Gaurav Bansalji, who is of course, we take a different connotation as an activist, but he deals with something, environment, then the people that who are under, NGT has been slapping fines to many of the municipal corporations for non-compliance of their order to clean the drain. And because we have a shortage of experts and expertise and methodology. So what they are going to do with those fines? They are collected because it is order, they have to give the fine. So the method is, there are so many such fines are being collected for improving the environment. That is the aim of the NGT. So what is his view about that? Not only that, he does a lot of work on the animal safety. And not only animal safety, the people that who are being barred without any judgment, without any finding any cases for years, for 20 years, 30 years, they have become mental people, those people. Who deals with that? We are talking about the disaster, direct impact of urban flood or many other natural disaster, but those who are, there are so many mentally retarded people who are dumped in the hospital or mental hospital. So he's the person, Gaurav is the person who takes this case and attract the attention of the authorities, because we have certain departments and people who are officially functioning there, but to make trigger them that what you are doing with these people. So he has been bringing out these facts with lots of exciting remark as well as action that force and motivate through PIL and other things. So tomorrow he is going to speak on that. And not only that, there are many people that who are in the jail for years together without bringing any case. So that is also another kind of disaster, of course, which is a problem. So he goes to those places and then check that what is the cases being taken, because he is an advocate by profession, and bring it to the honorable court and then take proper judgment and force the concerned department or officials to take appropriate action or compensation or like that. So I had the privilege to talk while arranging this program along with you, to talk in detail, which I just only thought that to share with you, to bring that for tomorrow also we are going to have very important, and day after tomorrow, of course, about the animal life and livestock safety. I hope that this will be very much interesting for our participants. Please don't leave us, because Corona has driven us from office back to home, even though we are homely. But whenever we check surroundings and ambience and around, someone or each and every family is getting this news that someone or some way or they are affected. But please keep us uh, alive in this session to take you today, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay, so with this note, I think, Rubab, can I show a few slides?
Please, sir, please,
Okay.
please.
Yes, sir, you can share it. You can share it, sir.
Okay. So I'll give something, of course, background. Not, I hope that it should not be boring enough, but to take you many rudiments of our this urban flood, especially, and how we can survive. What are the measures to be taken? The urban flood resilient measures. In fact, there are many resilient measures, but I will emphasize more on, because now it is drought is going to come next month, but how to store water, because life is water is life, life is water. And in fact, our scientists or space scientists, they are also looking for extraterrestrial or many other planets. First they look at, is there water is there or not, isn't it? So again, in the earth we are so fortunate, which has got into this shape more than 4.6 billion years, as our scientist says. But storing water in this manner, it could be a life that we are sustaining, especially the cities like Delhi. We get such kind of water, or even every metro city. If we want to keep our life going, as the Wab has mentioned, and many reports are there, 40% of the total population are going to occupy urban spaces, peri-urban spaces. So for that, to survive, we need water. We need to conserve water. So the aspect that I'm looking into is that what are the way that we can conserve water. And so here I will give few examples of, using geosynthetics, which is my very, very dear, very endeared subject area, using geosynthetics, that how we can store water and how to find out an alternative of such kind of conventional way of storage for the last so many 200, 300 years, that when we have come to know about the construction of the dam and then canal and distribution for the last 200 years that we have known so far. But you know that how much high this dam can be, and the more and more height is there, more and more area that it is going to inundate here. And we all know that whenever we are going for big dam construction, of course, for the last 10, 15 years, you know that there are some check on making high altitude dam. So we must have to, so that is why run of the river project, run of the river dam, because we need energy, we need water, we need our river to be alive enough so that it can give us a good mineral uh, modify or good water for drinking rather than using RO system in our houses where it takes most of the important minerals, and when important minerals are taken through reverse osmosis system, then it creates a lot of problems in our body. So in that case, now you can see so much effort is being made to add mineral to our RO system externally so that it can keep a balance in our body. But otherwise, traditionally, for thousands of years of civilization, we know that when we allow water to flow through at various terrain in the hilly area or even in the plains, they are they are naturally appropriate enough to keep us healthy. And but when we make such kind of artificial things to help the so many people living in the city, urban city, then we have to go for such kind of dam and store water through canal or through pipes or through other system. We have to distribute it in times of emergency or crisis, especially in the month of April and May or June when it is very hot. But at the same time, the contrast is that when this water is available in plenty, I'll take you to that how much water really per capita we get on an average in the country, in our country's context, and which is, you will see that it is more than 50 times that our daily requirement, more than 50 times of our daily requirement of water. I'll show you by some calculations when we proceed. And when more than 50 times of water nature is giving to us, then whom to blame? Is it blaming to the nature or it is only playing the blame game? No, it is a management, it is a technology, it is a know-how that we have to adapt in our city life or in our day-to-day life so that we can have a proper distribution and encatchment of these things by some alternative. Like here, I am showing you that we have so many data, natural disaster and data, database, COVID data and everything flooded now in the literature. We can spend several life here to go through rudiments of this data making and this kind of colorful diagram. Let us not go into all these. Here you see whether it is drought, whether it is extreme weather, whether it is flood. So what is a global reported natural disaster by type? So this kind of data, COVID has generated several such data every day, and we are now becoming um, obsessed with so much of data. So we have to come to the ground to do something. So how to store water? Like this is geomembrane, geosynthetics. So here, flexible storage system using geosynthetics is to be taken as one of the alternative of what I was showing here in the left side. But unfortunately, this kind of arrangement here, making a cavity here by using a JCB, maybe if 4 or 5 JCB, which may cost 5,000 rupees, say maximum labor cost and everything per day for 8 hours of job. And if we employ or deploy 4 JCB for maybe 3 to 4 days, we can make several lakhs of, we can create this space. 4 JCB, 5,000 rupee per day for 5 days means it is 1 lakh rupee. So by spending, let us come to terms, not think so big. if we spend 1 lakh rupee when we have got enough land here, and then we can create such a cavity or a pond, and for the geosynthetics which are plenty being manufactured in our country as a petroleum byproducts, crude oil processing byproduct where plastics and everything comes. See, it is one of that form. There are several forms are being made. These are impermeable and these are available from 25 rupee per square meter to 200 rupee per square meter. So we can calculate if it is 30 meter, if it is say this one say 50 meter, so it is 1500 square meter. So 1500 square meter, if we take 100 rupee per square meter, so it becomes 1500 into 100. So it becomes 1.5 lakh. So 1.5 lakh for this membrane, 1 lakh for excavating this for 5 days, 2.5 lakh. Now you can see that instead of making such kind of dam, which may take maybe several crores, 2.5 lakh, 3 lakh, spending that using in a geomembrane like this in an open area, we can store safely whatever amount of water we need at various places without disturbing the environment. So the thing is, urban flood resilient here, even though we are concentrating on urban, because all this water which is being stored over here, it will be passing or it will be just used for either for hydroelectricity and many other purpose. We get multiple benefit out of this. At the same time, it causes a lot of environmental impact, and for which, there are many opinions and divided opinions and impact that we are facing in terms of climate change. So it is just to give a, and also not that we can make or store water in this manner. We can store water in such kind of balloon where pipe can be connected and we can take it to wherever you want, especially in the hilly area, because this kind of dams are made in the hilly area. So if we can fill up this kind of balloon using geomembrane again at different elevation of the hilly area, so we can customize their usage by fitting this kind of things which our plumbers are able to do, have been doing, and they do it. So we, instead of going for such kind of mega structure, which has become an environmental disaster and concern for many activities. It has given thousands of activists. They are dedicated their life to act against all these things. So it is the time that for the engineers and technocrats and everyone, society together to find out a viable alternative through these or through these, so that we can make our urban living or even living in the hilly area or even a plain area with a much more simpler way of distributing water to the needs and to keep us survive. This portion, you can see many such catchy picture. About catchy means, as you know, this program is for livestock and animal safety also. But the first thing that when urban flood happens or even riverine flood is also there, or even anything happens, first we want to save ourselves. And in fact, in that matter, if you see, when COVID is stucking us havoc, how many of us have seen this, that how our animals or crops are getting affected? We are hardly bothered as on date. Right now, we are more concerned about saving our life. And then we have been adopting various way, ventilator or making oxygen and everything. But look at the animal kingdom. They are several trillion, in a trillion, I could say, than the human population, about says 800 crore. They are in trillions, that we do not have any time or patience to see that whether they are effective or not. But when we have started looking at these things, you see, disaster that as we create from the days of our civilization, the moment we have come to know the study of the genes and their function, like, we are genomic study and many things we are doing. We can check even baby before it comes out of the fetus. We can check whether there is any kind of genomic disease or any kind of disease are there not, neonatal or care, and we can check that if any disease is there or anything has come, we can identify those genes and we can separate them, and we can also have got medical science and biological science has gone to such an extent that we can monitor that, or whether the baby is to be uh, corrected or not, or gene can be corrected or not. So the study of genomics, especially gene and their function, not only in the human body, but in animal as well as in plant, because we have been, the moment civilization started, we needed the crop. So the crop, the plant, melodies, there are many, like last year we had this. So human, animal, and plant or crops, all three together, when we know their interaction at the level of genomic level, rather, so we have become now interwoven about the disease being caused, transfer from one, like zoonotic uh, diseases, like from animal to human, or human to animal, vice versa, or plant to animal, something like that. So all these things study, when we have come to know in the last few decades only, of course, started in 1967. After that, we know about the nature of gene and its double helical structures and other things. A lot of Nobel Prize and a lot of things that are being recognized for that study. But finally, what I want to say that I do not want you to take into this, just only that take recourse to that where we are as a human being. The synthetic biology and gene editing tools such as clustered CRISPR, you can say, regularly interspace short palindromic repeats, and CRISPR associated protein 9 can be used to modify gene to fix melodies and to create new functionalities for good or for illness. So many of the scientists now coming together, many people across the globe, they are coming to know whether COVID is created in the laboratory. It is a new, because we have come to know about the gene and their function in human, animal, and plant. So mixing them, changing them with, and then checking their growth, then we have been playing a lot of games in our laboratory. Of course, many of the things of these new functionalities, they are being used for the good, genetically modified food or other things. But when we see that now many scientists are coming up in groups and many papers are coming, whether COVID is such kind of cooked uh, uh, things that came out while playing with the genomics of human, animal, and plant melodies, or in the name of bioterrorism. But that is not the subject area. Just I wanted to take you to the current situation that we are dealing with flood, urban flood, and but looking at that our current condition, I thought that let me take you to this. Now let me come back depicting dangers, depicting dangers of the walls of civilized nation. This is how that we are living. And this is how that we face urban flood in our city. You will see thousands of such photographs because our smartphone has given us extreme freedom to take this as a memoir or this scenario and flooding Google photo in whatever way that we can. Nobody stops us. But what is the reason behind that? Is it that to share only how distressful we are? So I'll take you to some of the things that where we as an individual can become really an agent of change, the way that our cities are being flooded. What are the changes that we have to take in so that such situation will not happen? It is all created by us. It is all anticipated things that are going to happen. But we carry on living like this, then no one can help us. So the today's context is urban floods happening all around the globe in the last 2 decades. It is a new word came into the dictionary, especially in India after 2005 Mumbai flood. So it is less than 2 decades. So it is more frequent. It is becoming now, started with Mumbai. Before that, that dictionary has not given any place about the urban along with the flood, which we have been facing traditionally in our country. And what a contrast. Right now it is drought. After 2 months it will be flood. So, and we'll go into that detail also a little bit. Then management and attitude issues are many, like the background photos that being shown. Damage and loss are colossal, which we all agree. Flood protection measures. I will show several flood protection measures in the presentation, but majority of them are unauthenticated or it may be localized, or we need to share those authenticated or fruitful or try our own way in our community, in a group of people that where we are living or in a multi-story apartment. What are the measures to be taken rather than waiting for CWC, Central Water Commission, or there is no such authorized people or there is no such authorized people who will come for flood protection, because flood water, they come wherever their property is, wherever they will find easy access, and with the with the gravity they will flow and they'll occupy the space when the water flows, and drains and other things. So storage of surplus water not yet attended to rationally. That is what that when we get 60 times more water than what we need yearly, and then storage of the surplus water in the beginning slides that I have shown, there we have to work, and we have been working. Many countries, they have taken the lead to make city space, especially water crisis, that even where we are seeing every water crisis is a created one. So how to obviate those crises, that have to be looked into rationally. Then livestock and animal safety, it is rather, as we have given, more discussions will be made on day after tomorrow. It is rather reeling on compassionate grounds. If I don't have animals with me, or if I don't have any livestock with me, I have no botheration. But those people who are giving important food to the market or supplies regularly, chicken or anything, there, then what kind of community spirit that we have to share? That is what is the real living, resilient living that we should say and inculcate in our life. So one thing is, these are the sandbag. You see a situation, but you know that sandbag cannot arrest flood water. But what sand is somehow it is there in our mind that sandbag, yes, but when you use geosynthetically filled up, or rather sandbag is replaced by geosynthetic, which is non-porous, then make such kind of bag with the sand poured in the geosynthetic, then that kind of mental things that sandbag put rather than sandbag. I'll show you some example that how they can arrest water from the outside and entering into the compound or in our living space. So that thing we can see. One such example, of course, this is taken from the net, that this is the only house outside. It is all flood water. Maybe once in a while it has come, but using this geomembrane filled up with water. Again, geomembrane is one family of geosynthetics, and these are ready-made available in the country. We have plenty. We sell several 90% of our products we sell outside the country. So it means it is being exported, means those countries, they are getting a lot of benefits in using this, and by purchasing this at a rate maybe 50 rupees or per square meter, means 10 square feet you can say. To now these are being used as an alternative to our waterproofing in the roof also. The technology is very much enriched. There are varied such use, but one of the use in context of today's lecture is that making this geotube surrounding the house, which may be 1 feet or 2 feet more diameter, water you can stop, because when water is filled up here, it becomes heavier. So when it becomes heavy, then it will touch to the ground. So it will not allow at least 1 feet, 2 feet of extra water entering into the compound. So these are the things, common sense, locally, that we have to make ourselves prepared to stop or to obviate the or to divert the water which is excess for the time being to our compound. So there are many recent floods in India, and you all may know. But what I want to say, the recent means all 2018 or all these things, you will get any newspaper web page you see or Wikipedia you see, you will get all these records that what happened, how many people died, what is the economic cost. But only note that which will be highlighted here in this program is Kaziranga National Park, which is getting flooded for the last 7-8 years. And even 90% of the 432 square kilometer, and killing inhabitants means killing those one-horned rhinoceros and many such rare, even tigers, they are being killed. And that is a very, very sordid story. And in many places, you know, that we have some heart to our temples or to our heritage structure or to our heritage such national park, which is UNESCO recognized. Whenever such animals are killed because of the flood, where 80%, 90% of the area get inundated, then what kind of effort in the name of resilience that we have to do, even though some have been done, making artificial island, making some corridor. So details you will see on day after tomorrow. I'll highlight this portion also on day after tomorrow. So, but another thing that you may get to know, that when you go through, you know, what are the committees, high-level committees, ministers' committees, since 1956 onward, 54 onward, the policy statement and all these things, you know, for those who are going to be an inborn or unborn activist, or who wants to file a PIL that why our country is getting flooded, then you may go through all these reports systematically, which are available even in the website also, National Water Policy, Rashtriya Bar Ayog, and so we have हमारे यहाँ policy and other things in many important cases they might have not developed, but these are all more than 10-15 years before rather. So how many committees we have formed, that is a proof that this list you can see. So, but even then it is recurring, but at the same time, in many places, we have controlled the flood by making some kind of structural mitigation, like making dam. And in fact, in Kerala, whatever has happened, you may see various opinion on that. We may take a separate issue on that, especially on riverine flood, or even man-made flood, or even controversial flood that created or has happened due to the heavy rainfall, or even debris flow that last time that we have discussed. So in that case, there is again certain things that which are yet to be taken, despite we have expert committee and critical anti-erosion scheme on Ganga basin. So many things are there, but to make them, activate them, make them functional is the entire responsibility of all of us who are sitting in the executive body and who are that we are the community that where the participants here or experts are here all together. After all, we face the problem. It doesn't come from any other uh, country. It is all created over here. These policies are also created to have a control on them. But if it is not working, then we have to try different other, not policy, rather the technical as well as wisdom of the people that who are living over there in the name of community-based disaster mitigation. Flood versus drought. There are many such databases that you will be able to know. I don't want you to memorize all these things. Just only tidbits of that is that rainwater, 85% goes to sea. So it is a total waste. So if we could have reduced this another 5%, then we could have solved many of our drinking water or even drainage problem in the country. Current storage capacity of India's almost 6,000 plus large dams is about 350 billion cubic meter, billion 10 to the power 9 cubic meter. This is how it is being expressed. Then there is another area I want to show. Coastal reservoir has the potential to store 350 BCM of water with zero land acquisition and zero displacement of people, unlike inland dams. So you see that we have to take out of the box what we have been thinking conventionally for 200 years, 500 years, from British's period or so whatever it is. We have to come out of those kind of shackles that which are keeping us that, oh, we cannot do this, we cannot do that. Coastal reservoir is something that has the capacity to store even whatever storage of water that we are having in our 6,000 plus dams in the country, and we can store almost equivalent amount of water with zero acquisition of the land or zero displacement of people, unlike inland. So when we want to store water, then we have even on the riverbed, even on the seabed, rivers are national property. So on the riverbed itself, using flexible coastal reservoir, using geomembrane, we can store as much as water wherever we want. And then we can take care of the water needs of the water wherever that we need. And the first slide that I have shown, many more I am going to show. The Godavari River alone discharges 4,000 TMC, meter cube, trillion meter cube, feet, cubic feet rather of water to sea every year. So there is a Polavaram dam was under construction, but last 2 years it is being rather in the stage of decommission. That is again a sorry state of part. Whenever some political changes occurs, then it changes our entire game of, it is rather a game, rather you'd say that it changes the policy and or it changes the very purpose of disaster mitigation or very purpose of, like in this case, storing water, diverting it from Godavari to Krishna and many other areas. So it is got halted. Like we have eastern coast and western coast with a gated such kind of facility, we can control, seawater ingress into the river itself. And this doesn't need much expenditure. And here technology and know-how are very much known. And for that, we don't have to go to the other country to give their own technology. It is a gated control of seawater ingress into the inland water, which is filled up with rainwater, which should not mix or mix it in a certain way. Many dock facilities we have made in the sea area and the coastal area. So this is an augmentation of our already known technology and know-how to store more water, seawater, or not the seawater, rather the rainwater in our coastal rivers wherever they are meeting. Of course, this is something that whenever your compound is going to be flooded, then one of the stopgap arrangement is to, when this part is very low, then some of the dedicated pump can be made, which can make the continuous outpouring or discharging or pumping out of the water to a distant places so that we can avoid inundation of the area. So what a simple but elegant way of avoiding urban flooding in the compound, which is regularly flooding just because it is in a low-lying area, and then wherever it is raining outside, it is all entering there. Then we can appropriately make a sump and then put this kind of pump, which are available from 50,000 to 1 lakh rupee or even less. Accordingly, we can make, like many cities like Amravati city, they have made in such a way that the heavy duty pump has been installed. And so that if it gets flooded by Krishna anytime, that can be taken out those water in some time, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes time. Even in some of the places, in some city like Agartala, they have installed several pumps, heavy duty pumps. Whenever it gets flooded, those pumps are such that within half an hour, they can take out entire water into some other place where it will not come back. So such kind of arrangements are being made by even municipality at appropriate manner. So situational perspectives of flood. These are all cyclone shelter, but I don't know what is the time. Oh, it is okay, Rubab. Shall I? And here
before I think I was on a call. I just realized that Bhardwaj is also amongst us now, and so is Dr. Muzaffar Ahmed. So keeping that in view, I think we can welcome them formally.
I can continue later on also, no problem.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Of course. A very good afternoon, General Bhardwaj. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Take later on.
Yeah, of course, absolutely, sir.
Say that because in a news item, no, whenever you can say, okay, break ke baad. So for me, more important items I'll show after this.
Absolutely. I think that'd be a great idea. Thank you so much for your very insightful comments, Dr. Ghosh. I think for setting the perspective for this very important, 3-day certificate online training program on urban flood resilient infrastructure, livelihoods and animals, livestock and animal safety. Thank you so much. Before we move further, I would like to formally welcome Lieutenant General Dr. J.R. Bhardwaj, who's the chairman of CIDM and former founding member of National Disaster Management Authority. Very good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for
Namaste.
joining
Good
us.
afternoon.
Afternoon. Thank you so much. I would also like to welcome Dr. Muzaffar Ahmed, who's also a former member of National Disaster Management Authority, uh, and also a member of the FICCI's CIDM board, of which General Bhardwaj is the chairman. Thank you so much, General Saab. We had started, with your permission, sir, we had started the proceedings at sharp at 2 o'clock. General Bindal is slightly under the weather, so he's just not feeling well. So I'm just making the assumptions, but he has sent his all best wishes and compliments to our platform, and he had requested personally that if General Bhardwaj could deliver the inaugural address, and also in the same session, if we can have comments and special address from Dr. Ahmed as well. So, General Bhardwaj, without taking much of your time, sir, I would request you with a small introduction. I would start introduction to General Bhardwaj and request for your inaugural address. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Bhardwaj was the former honorary surgeon of India, and was appointed in September 2005 to the coveted post of member in the National Disaster Management Authority, the founding member. An appointment accorded status of Minister of State in the Government of India under the chairmanship of the Honorable Prime Minister of India. Prior to the appointment, he served as the Director General Armed Forces Medical Services, DGAFMS, in the rank of Lieutenant General in the Indian Armed Forces, the highest a doctor can achieve in Indian Army. We're very thankful and full of grateful heart, sir. We welcome you, and over to you for your inaugural remarks, sir.
Thank you, Rubab. Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible now. Can you hear me? Thank you. Once again, I'm thankful to CIDM and NIDM for inviting me for this great session where my friend Professor Chandan Ghosh is the main speaker, inaugural speaker. And I'm very sure that people who are attending this particular training program will be highly benefited, because he is full of knowledge and he can solve all your problems as far as many subjects on disaster management is concerned. This course, of course, we have been running courses on various issues, but this course on urban flooding, as the ensuing coming weather after the summer, we find number of cities in our country will be flooded, and year after year. Unfortunately, the corrective measures are not being taken so far in cities like Mumbai, where the urban flooding is a regular feature. Of course, it's not so easy to combat the urban flooding because of the various other factors, especially the type of construction and the way it has been constructed and blocked the various outlets of the draining water. In addition to that, there are factors like geographical factors, where the land is below the sea level, and the formation of a bund stopping the back flushing of the water, things like that, and heavy rain in a very limited period. These are, of course, many. When I was in NDMA, we did start a project which immediately died out after we left NDMA, in which we had invited various stakeholders internationally, from international arena, to give us a project so that corrections in Mumbai can be done, and also prevent for future in any other city that which likely to come, because our coastal area is large, and the flooding will be a problem in coming times when the snow melts on the high glaciers, and in future because of global warming. This, I think, corrective measures, we can take some preventive measures while planning a urban city. new one, and also some corrective measures in the existing cities, and also prevent flooding of the or populated areas and save our life and livestock, as this topic, this particular conference is about. I'm very sure that these 2 days program will be a great success, and many speakers will give their ideas on this, and we learn something out of this and take away a lesson so that which can be practically used by experts in their cities, people who are regulators and who matters in the government or in the non-government organizations for disaster management. We have during this series, a lot of I must congratulate NIDM and CIDM because we have covered a large number of topics. This is one of them: snow avalanche, etc., flooding, earthquake, industrial safety. Number of webinars on industrial safety, and this ongoing training program by NIDM is a great achievement even in the time of COVID, when we can physically cannot conduct. But I am very sure those who are attending it will be equally benefited because the matter and the speaker are of the same high status and knowledgeable people. So I must congratulate the team, FICCI team, as well as CIDN team and NIDM team for this. I'm very sorry to learn that General Bindal is not well. I wish him a good health, and I hope he is not affected by COVID, but he should improve immediately. And Chandan Ghosh, see you after a long time because in between you had disappeared from NIDM, so we were really missing you. But we are very pleased to have you once again in our team. I consider you as a part of our permanent team. Thank you, Rubab, and my best wishes for the course. Thank you, Jain.
Thank you so much, General Bhardwaj. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Lieutenant General Dr. J.R. Bhardwaj, the chairman of the FICCI's Chemical and Industrial Disaster Management Board and the former founding member of National Disaster Management Authority. Thank you so much, sir, for your very visionary remarks, and under your leadership that we've been able to establish deeper connections and deeper relationships with organizations like NIDM. And I think it's a testimony, the number of people we've reached out to during these COVID times. Over 10,000 industry professionals, CSO, civil society organization professionals, government representatives, people from the academia. I think over 10,000 is a huge number, and I think something which has been appreciated not only by our stakeholders, by our partners, but even by the Government of India, from the top office of India as well, from the Prime Minister's office. That's the reason why Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister is a permanent partner to the CIDM board, which is led by you. Thank you so much, General Bhardwaj, for your very encouraging and visionary remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Moving on, I would now request Dr. Muzaffar Ahmed, former member, National Disaster Management Authority. Dr. Ahmed, if you can hear me, can we have your mic unmuted, sir, and probably your video on? If I would request Varun to quickly check with Dr. Ahmed, and if he can hear my voice, if we are reaching him. I think I saw his video initially switched on. Please, Varun, if you could check with him quickly. Meanwhile, I think Dr. Ghosh, what General Bhardwaj also very clearly mentioned, I think it is the responsibility and the mandate which we've taken up upon ourselves as NIDM and FICCI to build better capacities, to improve capacities amongst all stakeholders in the ecosystem, to deal with situations, emerging situations, emergency situations, which can affect our business as usual. And I think these small baby steps, what we are taking, will be considered as a huge leap in times to come. We've covered a huge distance in the last 1 year. When we started last May 2020, it seemed like such a small initiative, starting with a webinar on industrial safety, and we never thought that we would be able to sustain it. So much so that we have series of not only webinars but online training programs, certificate programs, e-conclaves, e-conferences, all under the solid partnership of NIDM and Chiki. We're really proud to be a part of this team, and what General Bhardwaj also acknowledged. What I thought I was proposing, Dr. Ghosh, that because we have Pranav Ghoshji with us,
we can have his.
We can have his presentation. And I would want your second part of the presentation, ideally, to be at the end, and where you can round up the day also with a very knowledgeable input from your side. How do you think that would be?
Yeah, that will be appropriate.
Wonderful. So we have Dr. Ahmed. I hope our voice can reach you, Dr. Ahmed.
Yes, Rob, I can hear you.
Very, very good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Amidst whatever is happening in the country, the COVID crisis, I hope the month of Ramadan is going well, and you're taking good care of yourself. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We just heard from General Bhardwaj the inaugural comments. General Bindal is slightly under the weather, and we wish him speedy recovery. Before we request Mr. Pranav Ghosh, who's the head safety at Adani Gas, we wanted your special address and your special comments on this very subject of urban flood resilient infrastructure, and why I would, I'm looking forward to your comments, because, sir, in all this conversation, the Kashmir flood was something which we want to know more about from you, and how well the state of Jammu Kashmir has dealt with the floods which happened, which was, I remember I was in touch with you back then. It was a huge issue, had really disrupted the entire life back in Kashmir. And I think that was a classic example of urban flooding, what we've been talking about. So your special address and your thoughts on this subject.
Thank you, Bob. Let me first compliment you and Professor Chandan Ghosh for organizing this training course on a subject which is very important and relevant. As all of us know, that biggest challenge which globe is facing is going to be climate change, and urban flooding has occurred, and in number of states we know, not only in Srinagar, where the first, which was the first capital that time, which got submerged, and the whole infrastructure, including the secretariat, all the 6 healthcare institutions, and all major critical institutions got submerged. And the same happened after some years, couple of years, what we saw in Chennai and even Kerala, and even the Chennai, what we saw, even the major, our airport was completely submerged. Even it couldn't be operated for number of days. So we have seen the catastrophes even in the city like Hyderabad, which got rains couple of days, and the whole city got submerged. So knowing that urban flooding has become now a major concern and major disasters in city, whether it was even in the city of Bihar, Patna, where even the major all hospitals and a number of highways got submerged. So what is really required is what has been talked about, the how do we take care of the situation during this urban flooding, and what the need is, that is, we need to have our infrastructure which is resilient to this urban floodings, our drainage system in the cities, and when we are talking about the smart cities, we have to ensure that the problem of urban flooding is taken care, among others. I am also happy to note that you have also taken an important subject, that is on animal safety. Animal safety, couple of years back, we were not taking care, as we know, whether it was Kosi flood or even the Brahmaputra floods in Assam. A number of animals and livestock got affected due to floods, and a lot of damage. And in many areas, the complete livelihood is with on these animals, whether they are buffaloes or whatever animals the people have in the small animals. So what is really required is how do we take care of the animals and take care of their safety. In fact, Mr. Kem Singh, he, along with the NIDM, prepared a national plan along with that time Mr. Shukangurana, who was the Secretary, Animal Husbandry, Government of India, and a national national plan for animal safety was also prepared, which is going to be relevant, and a lot of efforts have been made, especially by the state of Bihar as a part of their DR state disaster risk reduction plan. And number of trainings, in fact, they have completed the training of veterinary surgeons. Now they have included the animal concept of animal safety in the module of training of Panchayati Raj and even the local body members training. And I tell you, if we concentrate on these two important subjects, that is about how do we make the resilient infrastructure, especially for urban flooding, and it's also going to help us resilient infrastructure if we have structurally that is even in high seismic zones, which is also an area of concern, especially when India is facing lot and rapid urbanization. As we know, by 2026, we'll have a lot of more than 28 million people adding more to our urban areas. So we need to work for these two important aspects. And I must say this training for 3 days is going to be very useful for the participants, and I wish you all the best. And I hope that during the course I'll also interact with you, and maybe I have a small presentation on what you mentioned on Kashmir urban flooding. Thank you very much.
That's music to our ears, sir. Thank you so much for that offer. I think whenever it is convenient to you, sir, but ideally I would request on the last day, I think
Sure.
it would be great to have your, during the validity session, a presentation, short presentation by you. It would mean a lot to us, and that's why I thought, because of these COVID times, we did not want to, push, because I know you're getting thousands of calls almost every day. But if you could spare some time on Saturday afternoon, third day, and share your perspective and share your knowledge on the Kashmir flood, I think that would be very valuable for all the attendees and for us as well. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed, for sharing your vision, sharing your knowledge and your experience on the area of disaster risk reduction, disaster risk management overall, and your experience during Kashmir floods. When you share on Saturday, I'm sure it would be very exciting and very learning. It would actually enhance the learning curve of all of us who would be attending. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed.
Thank you, thank you, Professor Chandan Ghosh. Thank you.
Moving on now, I would request Shri Pranab Ghosh. Before I do that, I would just, although Dr. Ahmed needs no introduction, but for the ladies and gentlemen who are attending and who are participating and connected with us, Dr. Ahmed is the former member of NDMA and was with the status of Minister of State. His experience, he has looked after industrial disaster management, mitigation, earthquake, and other important subjects at the national level, at the authority and different positions. Dr. Ahmed has been instrumental in formulation of more than 8 national guidelines on different subjects of disaster risk management, recipient of Dr. B.C. Roy National Award by the Honorable President of India. And Dr. Ahmed has written more than 6 books on disaster management. He has represented India in many national and international forums. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed. I would now request Shri Pranab Ghoshji for his presentation. Is the head safety Adani Gas Limited. As we have his presentation on the screen, he's a seasoned HSE and sustainability professional with 25 long years of experience working in diversified businesses, that is water, wastewater, chemicals, oil and gas, worked with world-class organizations like Skullenberger, BP, Mahanagar Gas, which is a JV of GAIL and Shell, Asian Paints in a leadership role, worked abroad with Skullenberg instruments in setting up excellent HSC system and practice for a massive multi-billion-dollar integrated drilling operation programs of Saudi Aramco. In Asian Paints led 3R, Zero Sustainability Initiative for their flagship plant at Ankleshwar. Areas of expertise include ability to lead, a large team, great influencer to senior management to step change in HSC. So basically a mover and shaker in the field of HSC, something which we work very closely in. Holds MSc Chemistry from IIT Kharagpur, a renowned IIT from Bengal, and MTech Environmental Engineering from IIT Mumbai. Also acquired professional qualification in safety, PG Diploma in Industrial Safety, and many more. I mean, is a very decorative career, Mr. Ghosh. We are really thankful to you for taking our time to be with us and to share your knowledge with the attendees today during this online training program. Over to you, Mr. Ghosh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So great. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this excellent and nice introduction. First of all, let me congratulate the NIDM and CIDM for conducting this excellent workshop and inviting me specifically. I am not that famous, but I am working on my area. So thanks for inviting me, Dr. Ghosh and Sood sir, and Major General Bindra is not here, but Lieutenant General Saab and Ahmed Saab for all your opening remarks and all dignitaries in this field. So as this topic, my purview, I'm basically industrial. My whole profession is on industries, helping industries to grow in the field of environment, health, and safety. I started my career in way back 1995, and worked different industries all across India and abroad, and Middle East, and I have seen health safety is a kind of thing which we are neglecting in many parts, but slowly it is catching up, right? So coming back to this topic about flood per se, I am from village. Root is my village. So I born and brought up in a very remote village where animals were basically we scared them. We kind of secret them. And in our house, I remember we had 50 cows and buffaloes, which we used to feed. And I myself, when I was a boy, used to take them to the field for grazing. So and this organization is empathetic about this part, animal part is really excellent. And I really see my root where I am from. So in urban flood, of course, it is an issue, but at the same time, the speakers talked about the lots of villages, lots of parts of the country every year is devastated. People got homeless and they have to start their own life. So these are issues where our countries are facing. and the experts and the bureaucrats and the politicians, they are doing their best to mitigate these measures. And one thing is always coming in mind as integrated project of flood for river integration, which to mitigate flood would be the way of life. So coming back to my presentation, if I can share my slide, I don't know if it's possible. Yes. So is my slide visible? Yeah. Yeah. Is my slide visible to everybody? Hello? Hello?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Mr. Ghosh. Yeah.
So, I belongs to city gas distribution company called Adani Total Gas. And we talk about this flood, the disaster management or emergency response management for gas distribution pipeline, which has those aspects I will cover in my. So I'll give very brief background about this company and how the CGD, the city gas distribution, is growing in the country with considering the energy need, energy hunger nation, and how they are fitting the perspective, and how CGD industry is affected. Sometimes I will talk about it on flood. A basic principle of emergency response and disaster management. This is no brainer, but I want to share some of the experience which we are facing. Some things are there on books, but when you practice it, when you do the drill, mock drill, we see there's a huge gap, and we learn from it, and we talk about it, and then I'll talk about some technology part, how the industry can embrace to mitigate the industrial risk in terms of flood, to preventing the flood consequences, the business continuity, the response, the disaster part, to technology, better design, infrastructure, and etc. And in India, the regulatory framework, or the PNGRB, the main parent body with MOPNG, they are doing excellent job on emergency response and management, and at national level, of course, National Disaster Management Authority. So, and I touched some of the way forward, which I think, and my vision is, which I would like to see my country in that direction. So this is a company like Adani. Total Gas is a joint venture between Adani and Total. Total is, the French energy major. They are in oil and other energies. So this joint venture, we are distributing gas, the natural gas across 38 geographical location, along with our joint venture partner, Indian Oil and Adani Gas. And the gas we are supplying to all from the commercial, industrial, domestic, and the automotive sector. And this company, if you can see the spread across India, we are covering almost length and breadth of the country with our JV combined 38 geographical location. So this is a massive kind of infrastructure we are building. And as you know, the Honorable Prime Minister vision, country's vision to grow from 6% natural gas in our fuel basket to 15%, which is also much lower than the world average of 25% of natural gas in the fuel basket. So natural gas is a clean, affordable fuel for the poor and very clean in environmental sustainability point of view. So this mission of Government of India is actually fueling the backbone for the CGD industries in the country to grow, and we are one of the leading player in that sector. So as also the COP of the Kyoto Protocol of France, Paris Agreement. The country has given a pledge that by 2030 we will be reducing 30% of our greenhouse gas emission of our baseline of 2005. So, natural gas would be one of the driver to achieve that pledge and that target, correct? So this is the background, and so this I talked about it. The spread, around 71 districts we are touching. We are covering around 8 to 10% of population. We are, by the way, the largest private CGD entity. And if you see, we are now 18 operational GA only for the Adani Total Gas, but along with our JV, more than 300 CNG station and around 7,000 to 8,000 kilometer of pipeline laid with 5 lakhs of domestic customer and 4,500 industrial and commercial customer, right? So this is we are, and now coming back to the emergency, we have since we are dealing with natural gas and our pipeline is spread across the cities and the towns, and of course we use high pressure gas in the pipeline. Right from 49 bars to bars, then step down at which you are using at home at 150 millibar, 125 millibar. So that is another thing about the safety hazards and fire, etc. We have to deal with that. But the topic today was the natural calamities and the flood, which also a kind of a surprise gives us once in a while, and how we are prepared and how we think as a CGN industry we are representing through the PNGRB regulations. Almost all the CGD companies will be adopting same principle, which I'll be touching upon. So the flood part, which we are talking about, is so that's a flood is not different than any other emergency response and disaster management plan. So it is always saying that in emergency the key is the planning, and the people who plan better, their business continuity, their survival, their managing the disaster is far better than getting those surprises. And there is a clear letdown ERDMP rules formed by PNGRB, and they are very active in monitoring this compliance with all CGD industry and other oil and gas industry. And the location plan, the site plan, the layout, a block diagram, material safety data set, the contacts, the route of the pipeline. I'll talk about it in detail, how in CGD this is very important to prevent or to protect from flood and situation like disaster, right? So so I'm coming to the prevention part. How in CGD industry the pipeline mainly through design, international design, we are protecting our asset in the flood. Now, in the previous speaker, Sud Saab had mentioned, and other speaker talked about the Mumbai flood in 2005. I was working with Mahanagar Gas that time in Mumbai, and I was part of this flood and running our operation emergency response and disaster management during that time. So I have seen it in my eyes how the flood can be devastating and distressful for the people and the society as such. So we remember in Mumbai we had to hire boats, and we learned a lot after that. and we did a lot of work after that to protect our assets and by the way, the gas, which is the livelihood for the people for their cooking and other essential commodities, the gas was intact. It was salute to the people who worked hard to maintain the gas supply throughout during the flood. How it is possible? Because it is possible because of some dedicated people working, knowledgeable people working, and in ensuring those design and installation are safe even in the during the flood. So in the gas industry, what happened? The pipelines are mainly underground. The steel network, the polyethylene pipe network is underground, and we have some above ground installation like city gas station. These are all also very much protected. So coming back to some design aspect of pipeline when we are laying, we consider this specifically when you're crossing river, railway crossing, nala crossing, where the flood water can completely dislodge your pipe and because of the flotation. So people who may be remembering the incident to 2013 in Bharuch, Narmada River, because of the flooding, the pipeline from ONGC and GAIL and other companies' pipeline was severely damaged, and the oil spill happened. And so this is another risk in case of flood of damaging pipeline, mainly the crossing where washing out of the bed is a concern. So there is a specific design consideration is done in ASME 13.1.8 to ensure that the pipes are embedded with concrete, and then the HDD, the direction drilling is done much below the bed. The hydrographical survey, geotechnical investigation is done in designing this HDD by crossing of the pipe like open cut is not favorable, and even if we do the open cut, then lot of measures we need to take. There are isolation valve at the both side of the critical crossing, so that in case you have a problem, you isolate those section through remote control through the SCADA. So there are a pipeline when we are on the flood prone area. There are protection like preventing construction and other protection is there. So design point of view, we follow world-class standard, ASME standard codes to ensure that the pipelines are protected. Um, now the second part is the operation part, right? Operation part is also equally important. Now, if you can see this, I mentioned about the SCADA, the remote operation of the valves of the steel network, which is high pressure network. And you can see one of our control room is in Ahmedabad, is monitoring all the aspect, every pipelines detail, the flow rate, the pressure, and they can close the valves as required, sitting at the centrally located place. And again, we consider the flood is one of the aspects for designing this control room. This control room is designed at the elevated place so that they can continue their operation even if the flood. And this data is stored in the cloud in the data center. Now it is in the server, which is also very much protected. But in coming days, we are going to have a server which will be very, very secure to continue our business and continue to management in case of flood. So as a backup, also we have another backup control room, some cases to monitor some of the emergency data. So we have another backup control room in another of our locations. So this is the SCADA network. If you can see that this command and control centers are work in different level. Level 1 is kind of local management at the local level, at the geographical location. As I said, our network is from Chennai, Tirupur to north in Faridabad, in east it is in Orissa. So how do you control the entire network sitting in central location? So there are three regions we have: north, the region 2, region 1, and region 2 and region 3. So three regions are also subdivided into geographical level, and those we have local control room, but that local control room is now integrated to a centralized command and control center from where the entire operation is monitored and controlled. There are still a lot of improvements are happening to each and every CNG station. Even domestic installation can be monitored through this SCADA, which we are working on through technology and through IoT-based system, which are coming up in technological advanced point of view. So this is a backbone, I would say, for controlling or managing flood and disaster, which we can continue our business and services in difficult situation. Another technology is the GIS, right? So all our network is geographically referenced. So we know our network, and we share this network with other utility companies. So when they are working, this is also shared with the government authorities so that they can take care during this the national level, the state level emergency to take care of the situation. And this each and every pipeline, our CNG station, the commercial application, everything is connected through GIS. And GIS is very useful tool for utility companies for, yeah, for companies. So, so this is a technological advancement, and to take care of the operational part. Now, the flood, there are different different measures. We do the drills and mock drill. We use those scenario like flood, what you do, what resource you have, how do you rescue people, and then this is the on-site emergency plan. And then how to integrate with offsite at state level, at the national level, whenever required to integrate our response plan. So these response plans is submitted to the authorities, and then the state level authority, they integrate this into part of their state level measures. Just excuse me, please. So this do's and don'ts are as no brainer. Like what we do in case of before the monsoon, we have a monsoon checks so that all our resources, the plan, the contact numbers, the drills we do before the monsoon to ensure the preparedness. And this has been also shared with local authorities here. And all our drainage system around the city gas station from where we pump the gas to the entire city, those has been checked. We ensure that the boundary wall are properly protected so that water cannot come in. There are pumps, heavy duty pumps to take out the water so that the CGS or the above ground facilities are protected. Our valves over on the ground on the valve chambers are protected with a stem so that you can operate the valve where the SCADA valves are not there. So this way, before the monsoon, this kind of drills and this kind of preparedness is ensured to protect in case of flood. Then this emergency organization is very clearly mentioned in ERDMP document, which we follow exactly the offsite as well as the onsite. You can see the left one is offsite, where we use the we use the state level machinery, the district collector, the municipal bodies to integrate with our emergency response. So once in a year, once in 2 years, we have a massive drill involving fire brigade services, medical services, the district, other authorities, they come and do these drills. Fire, some, road accidents, the petroleum leakage and big spill, and we participate those drills. And these are very, very important drills to ensure the preparedness and alertness among the all the stakeholder in the cities or in the town. And of course, this is our level, which we do the emergency control. On the right hand side, you see how do you ensure the continuity in case of fire and other emergencies uh, at our level, at level of our company. Of course, we take the local help, the mutual aid of different industries to come across and do this. So what I see, this kind of drills, this kind of mutual coordination helps a lot. I have seen many times actual accidents when we've seen the fire of gas leak. People, if we are not ready, we have seen to stop a fire, it takes hours. But then we realize, then we do the investigation, we see sometimes people are not trained, new people have joined, they don't know which valve to be operate and which to be closed, which loop to be isolate so that you can isolate your supply and the fire. And so this kind of drills give us a huge learning and to manage the situation. And of course, I would say the state level more and more this kind of offsite drills is required to prepare ourselves to where the flood is not a industry level problem. It's a genuine society level problem. And each of the responsible industry, big manufacturing house and all the government houses come together and do this kind of drill to manage the situation better way. And this is again, there are experts, they talked about Ahmed Saab and Lieutenant General said, they talked about at national level and Government of India, how the national disaster structure is integrated with the state and national level to district level to local authorities. I need to know more. I am still learning how we as industries, as a CGD industry can integrate to such a high level to Government of India level. I'll be very pleased to participate at that high level to contribute whatever way I can. But this is a clear diagram which is part of the ERDMP, the Emergency Response and Disaster Management of ENGRB. And they have mentioned it clearly that how this individual emergency response plan they have integrated at national level from state level to national level. So this is a very, very interesting. I would like to keep some idea of thought with the audience, with the team here to work this to make it at the national level disaster as a priority. So just a few way forwards, what we are doing, adopting technology, right? Now, disaster is such a thing that we can avoid this through early warning system. Like there are drones, there are IoT systems. They can very early detect the calamities, the earthquake, the floods. So then it helps us to manage, to prepare ourselves in the flood. So more and more use of this technology would be useful. We are using one called Emergency Response Management System. It's a mobile app which will have all our patrolman, all our patroller, all our emergency staff. They are reporting these emergencies through this app, so that within fraction of second, the management team, the on-site emergency response team, they get to know in case of any fire. Or then once they know about it, there is a automatic dialing of the people involved to manage the situation. So this technology is available. You don't have to go to the location to manage it. You sitting at home through this conferencing facility, through the telecommunication facility, you can manage the situation. So this is reporting and tracking through mobile-based application. We have started implementing it on our location because you were reporting in Chennai, far from Chennai. I am sitting in Ahmedabad in the head office. Somebody reporting a fire incident in Chennai. Everybody get to know in Ahmedabad, and they network with the team and they support through company level, group level, and district level. That support system can work. So as I mentioned, the offsite drills nowadays is not happening that much. We are talking to authorities. So we want more such drill. Even PNGRB, they want this offsite drill, and we should be part of those offsite drill very often to help the state, to help the country level to achieve this disaster management way of life. Of course, the social media platform can help in early warning and disaster management to evacuate people. We use this social media for alerting our customers, alerting all our customers, industries, our stakeholders to in case of flood that the supply will be isolated, the gas supply will not be there for such and such region, and of course this tool can be used for bigger purpose to manage the disaster. Right. So that's all I have, and thank you very much for patient hearing. And as I said, it is a great learning attending this conference and networking with people of national level, policy making level, and please you can bank on my support on whatever way myself and my organization can do. We'll be happy to do that. And of course, any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pranabji, for your very detailed, very to the point, and very informative sort of presentation. I would request Dr. Ghosh to, if Chandan Ghoshji, if you want to make any comments. I think it was a great learning listening to what Pranabji spoke about in the last half an hour, and I must congratulate him and his organization, Adani. No wonder it is the fastest growing organization in the country today, with Mr. Adani featuring in the the top 50 list of highest grosses. I think we are really proud of the achievements of this group, and I think it is a globally renowned organization now, and I'm sure such feats cannot be achieved without the aspect of safety and HSCs, which Mr. Pranab Ghosh has been tirelessly, improving in this organization. I think a lot of credit of the success of Adani Gas goes to its culture of health and safety also. So congratulations once again, and thank you for your presentation. Chandanji, if you want to make any comments.
In fact, I learned more and more things when we are discussing last night when he was in the market. He says that, sir, please give me some time and let me have the essential items before lockdown starts, and then we'll have. And he called me immediately within half an hour. Then it continued unending manner, and then we cannot stop him also, and he could not stop me also in talking. Is it? So
Thank you.
so that way, the first time that I have come to know about a dynamic officer, not rather officer who is dealing with lockdown period and handling all those workers who can come, who cannot come, even in the late evening, or there is no definition of hours or day or night in these days in the period of COVID. So that way, means keeping the workers or those, because they are dealing with the public and the gas supply cannot stop. These are essential items. So I could see or felt his pulse about his dedication and services to the nation in that way, directly or indirectly, through the supply and maintenance of these services, rather uninterrupted manner in this COVID crisis. More
Absolutely.
than that, what we have discussed about that, he was openly asking, sir, can you help us in detecting the leakage in the pipeline? And it would be a great help because so many thousands of kilometers of pipeline and so many other things like which of course like JCB, which are the position of JCB, huh? And
Yeah.
so that JCB people, they come and they come their own and they uproot their pipeline which were there before, below. So he wanted that whether we can locate this JCB, we wanted some data from the JCB company, but they are not giving. Then probably we are discussing that nobody will give the data these days. Rather, people take data, they use it in a different manners. So you can identify, you can take your own data by a very simple manner using our community mobile phone. GPS now coming in this 5G mobile, 0.5 meter specific. We don't need more than 1 meter or 2 meter resolution, but with the help of community and people, area staff and employee, we can take a SCADA system, which he has described, in a next level with IoT, more and more IoT level of devices, so that the supply remain disaster free, or rather such kind of man-made disaster also, not in the form of urban flood, but in the in the guise of disguise of JCB operators, huh?
Correct. Correct.
So that so there are many interventions that even I see that with 25 plus years of experience, you are working since 1995, and so you are serving Adani, but you are serving the country, and also you are equally concerned about, like he has shared about, see, sir, whenever I come up, got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, sorry, don't take it personal, then a
Yeah.
lot of ideas come, and try to note down, because after 6, 7:30, after tea, and then all those things start, then we forget. And in fact, I also say that yes, it comes around 5, 5:30. So, but thing is, yes, main point of this kind of platform is with FICI, with the CIDM, Chemical Industry Disaster Management. They have been running continuously this program for 8, 9, 9, 10 years now, Riva? Yeah, 2009, I think, onwards.
Sir?
Your CIDM
Sir,
activity
it's
started
almost 12 years, sir.
almost 12 years. So that way, number of such programs being organized across the country with various themes, especially industrial disasters, chemical industry, and industrial disaster related things. So now, taking Mr. Pranab into this and the kind of things that they are solving, it is not for only Adani Gas. There are many other. There are 10 more, 50 gas companies are there, and oil and fuel. Oil also are being served. There are more than, I think, 2 lakh kilometer of pipelines which are there supplying from one place to another place, where Adani has got, I think, several thousand kilometers now. They are expanding very fast. So keeping their safety and noting that where it is. In fact, I was sharing about him that whenever PNG kind of pipeline comes to our house, these days now, whenever person comes, they, sir, we are not able to come due to COVID. Earlier they used to come and physically and take a photograph or note down that what is the metering. But now technology has come that you don't have to come physically, but you have to put certain system in the meter that which will give the meter reading directly on your SCADA system. So that kind of technology. So he got excited, and I think this is just a beginning. And with all our participants that who are attending, you see more than 160, 70. So you see, it is not that Pranabji is having his concern all with him, but it is concern as well as route map for solving many of the challenging problems that coming. Not really while serving people in the manner. So would be of main interest that to come forward and look forward, and that is the aim of this kind of interaction. So thank you, Mr. Pranab, and you have
Thank you very much. Thank you so
about
much.
your childhood days. We had also one cow, and in fact, I would like to share that when my mother has to go to see my elder brother in the hospital for 10-15 days, I don't know, at the age of 6-7, I still don't remember. Then when I was weeping, I was not taken there in the hospital. Then people around auntie and all people say that why you are weeping for your mother? And I say that she gives me milk to drink. He said that where your cow gives the milk. The cow is your mother. So then that was a kind of, I should not say sentiment, but that is the kind of our relation
Correct.
with our livestock and animals that we deal with. Thank
Correct.
you. Thank you
Thank
for
you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranabda, again. Thank you so much. Dr. Ghosh, would you like to make, the second part of your presentation, would you like to add something, throw light on this today?
I think this is quite a good time now. I don't want to add any further because all are stressed. I have a lot of things, but let us reserve it for the last day.
Right. There are a couple of questions. I would just, there's a question from Badapalli Tarun. And Pranabda, if you would like to take that question up. How often the offsite emergency plan is revised? Or updated?
Offsite emergency plan is actually the authority is the district collector level and the state level, right? So yeah, we give them the input so that they can prepare it. But normally once in a year, they used to come for a drill, to organize that drill. But because nowadays it is a little bit pressed, but it is not updated as is required, but I think there are a lot of support required for them as well to update this document. If you go and see your area, you may find the document it may be 10 years old. So this is one area. I think, as I said, the offsite emergency part, we have way to go. We have to work on that. Correct.
Right. There was so I think we can take, we will keep and I would encourage all our attendees, almost 150 plus, almost touching 200 here, and almost the same number on the YouTube channel, because there were some technical issues, so they could not join some here. But then I'm glad I checked on the YouTube channel. There's a healthy participation there as well. So we are collecting questions from that platform also, and we'll take it up tomorrow. But I would request all the participants and encourage them to please put your questions down, like Mr. Vadapalli Tarun has done, in the question and answer windows. And your comments can reflect in the chat window, like Anjali Verma and Prem Raj and Priyadarshan, Velaru Ramesh, Lakshay Vats, Amit Kumar, all of them. They have really thanked the experts and complimented them for the very insightful information being shared. So thank you so much, Pranab Ghosh and Dr. Chandan Ghosh, for your very informative and insightful presentation. I think you've set the tone, and I think the excitement amongst the participants has also gone up several notches, because first day actually is the most important day, I would say, because this really binds the attendees to come back next day and the last day as well. And I think we could have had a selection of better speakers with the comments from General Bhardwaj and Dr. Ahmed. And Dr. Ahmed volunteering to share his experience of Kashmir floods on final day. I think that's a great gesture from his side. And tomorrow we have a lineup of 3 very eminent speakers, Mr. Gaurav Bansal, which Mr. Ghosh also mentioned initially. You know, he's an advocate, an activist, and sort of a stakeholder, a very important stakeholder in the ecosystem when we talk about resilient infrastructure. Because one of the things which the recent initiative of Government of India, which is first of its kind, an international body which has been set up, the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, which is a brainchild of our Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, and Dr. P.K. Mishra, who's the PS to PM, the only Indian to be awarded the Sasakawa Award, which is the highest honor which an individual can get in the world on the area of disaster risk reduction. Their brainchild of CDRI is working very actively towards, dealing with infrastructure-related issues. And one of the issues when you talk about flooding, which was taken up interestingly at CDRI, is not about when they talk about building physical infrastructures of roads, railways, airports, highways, power infrastructure, and telecom, is that one thing is to build those infrastructures very resilient to any sort of situation. But the O&M part, when you lay down the drainage of a city, you can have the most high-tech drainage technology, which is big. But if the O&M is not proper, if the operation and maintenance of that drainage system is not proper, it is of no use. So infrastructure maintenance and its operation is as important as investing in solid infrastructure. Operating it, maintaining it is it's an ongoing process. So having a world-class infrastructure means that it is maintained and operated with the same zeal as it was installed. So on that note, I think urban flooding is definitely one of the biggest sufferers of poor operation and management. I would not say the infrastructure is poor. Infrastructure is good in our urban cities, but their operation and management is something which proper maintenance and operation is something where we lack, and we need to work on that as we plan forward to even protect our livestock and animals, because they are part of the entire habitat we live in. So on that note, I think Dr. Ghosh, all our the technical team, the organizing team. I thank you and NIDM. Thank you, Pranab Ghoshji, for joining us today and sharing their thoughts and expertise. And of course, all the attendees, over 300 in number on 2 different platforms. I know it was a challenge on short notice. The registration was an issue initially, but Dr. Ghosh, as I told you yesterday, it's the quality of our platform which makes sure that people, face all these, despite those problems, they would come and join us. So thank you so much, Dr. Ghosh. If you think right, we can off for today, and we can come back.
We can keep it here. Just there are few questions were there. Just I was a natural disaster like flood, we could not even control during the last so many years. It is from Rashtra Bandhu Shringi.
Okay. Yes.
I have replied there. You can see we have to think out of the box. Whatever has been doing, we are doing rationally, traditionally. We have to think now out of the box. In fact, I have several such things. Few of them of those slides I have shown in today's background presentation. More I will show tomorrow and day after tomorrow. whenever I find some time, and there are several ways to stop, to prevent, to divert, to control, to root out, to stop their measures, and which I will show. And in fact, in our country, we are still living in the conventionality. So we have to come out of the box. So you will see many such examples now, which is followed in many other countries also. And then there is another word. Can we do not have the rainwater storage river plan to control flood and drought? Again from him. So again, I just today's lecture, in fact, main topic is exercising or going for a flexible storage system, where I have shown that whatever amount of water, one statistics is that we are storing in 6,000 plus dams in a area across the country. Same can be stored in a very cheaply in our coastal reserve. It is called coastal reserve. It is already identified some area. Same amount of water we can store where in the coastal itself using flexible membrane or some of the barrier system like in Kerala, we have got backwater. It's a huge backwater, but its mouth is hardly few hundred meters. So having a gated control of those mouth where it is connecting to the sea, we can convert this water into sweet water. In fact, many gigantic projects are being taken up in India, especially in Kambe in Gujarat. Of course, it is going on for the last 10 plus years, but we have to go extra mile in not allowing or in containing some portion, like 85% of our rainwater goes to the sea. At least 4-5% if we are able to hold on the riverbed or in the seabed, then we can reduce our drought problem or water shortage problem, which many things we can see. So that way, you have suggested, Lord Rakesh Kumar, interlinking of river rainwater harvesting system is the solution. Interlinking of river was a concept came up in 2004-5 and it became a political controversy. But these days, because of the environmental debacle or devastation that we can face due to the economic flora fauna changes, even when we are storing water in dam, a lot of changes occur. We have to resettle the people and things goes underwater. So there are many environmental aspects are also being taken. So in that case, now instead of going for the canal or instead of going for making dam, and we are having a capacity now to drain water through a pipe, like in Delhi, if you know, Sonia Vihar pipeline is there, or even in many of our metro cities, including Bangalore, we carry water by canal even as long as 300 kilometers, 400 kilometers. So instead of making canal, we can make 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter diameter pipeline, which can be installed with pumping system, controlling system, even 1,000 kilometer, 2,000 kilometer pipeline. In fact, if you want from the Bakranangal Dam, whatever water is stored there in Punjab, Himachal Pradesh and those areas, those can be transported to as distant as even you can say Vidarbha districts or even in Karnataka, which is about 2,000 kilometers, and making this pipeline rather than canal, which we did in British period, by pipeline system within it, we can transport this water very cheaply, efficiently, without disturbing the environment from a distance, even from the Himalaya or Himachal Pradesh to even all those drought-prone districts in Madhya Pradesh or even in Karnataka. And the construction and cost and everything, they are affordable and they are very fast. Means it may not take even more than a month to construct 2,000 kilometer pipeline. That kind of capacity and organizations and mega construction companies, pipeline, laying the pipeline, connected. So that kind of capacity also the country is having. Only that is why I say that we have to come out of the box. Okay, like, okay, many of our participants, they are also having good ideas. Shantanu Pramanik, dear sir, please provide several measures to control flood-like natural disaster. I think I'll discuss this thing on the day after tomorrow. I have several such things. Flood manner like ancient forts, that is rainwater harvesting. Yeah, those are there, but we have to make our aquifer, they are dead. Most of the aquifer are dead because most of the river system, they are dead because of the siltation, because of the erosion. So river doesn't have the carrying capacity. So there are systems now to increase uh, infiltration capacity of the river naturally, or even artificially by pumping some by inserting some perforated pipes with geotextile round around perforated pipe to recharge the underground aquifer. So those are the practice being done here and there, but accordingly we have to decide where we can have a artificial recharging or increasing recharging capacity of the river system or water aquifer by some method that which are also available in our country. We'll discuss. Certification questions, probably it will take another special session on this.
Yes, we can
Definitely
take
we note down
questions.
these things. And
Tomorrow we'll have more time, sir. Tomorrow we'll have more time at the end of the session. We can cherry pick these questions and we can, take in them tomorrow. In fact, we'll encourage these people because these attendees will be coming in tomorrow also. So any questions which have not been taken today because of paucity of time, we can take them tomorrow, because tomorrow we have a half an hour dedicated time slot for taking questions from attendees. I think that would be great. But I must thank you for taking so many questions, despite the fact we have skidded over our allocated time. That's very kind of you. So we can take these questions tomorrow, and people are asking for the presentation and slides which were presented by you and Pranabda. And I think I must tell everyone that if you attend all the 3 days, you'll be issued a certificate and also a copy of the presentation, which would be approved by the presenters. The shareable copy will be circulated with all the certificates. So don't you worry, you'll have a copy of these wonderful informative slides which you've witnessed today. And we'll also take some more questions.
This record will be made available YouTube, no? In the YouTube directly? This
yes,
record?
so it's been telecasted live and it will always be there. So they can always refer to the YouTube channel. You're right, sir. And on the FICCI's YouTube channel, they can go back and any part they miss, they can see the live, the recorded version on the YouTube channel as well.
Take.
Right.
So participants, they want more and more such things, but anyway, I appreciate, and let us see that only by questioning and answering will not help. I will bring a lot of example here to satisfy you on tomorrow and after tomorrow.
Yes, please try and attend.
Thank you, sir.
Right, thank you, Pranabda. There was a question that if you miss some part of the presentation, will you still be eligible for a certificate? Yes, but we will be tracking your attendance on all the 3 days. It should be, if it's a genuine reason, we can consider. But as part of policy of Ministry of Home Affairs, you have to attend majority, almost entire training program. So please try and attend as much as you can. If there's a technical glitch, do let us know. But then overall, you are supposed to attend. And if there is any,
any special circumstances, please let us know.
Yes, and there is any exceptional situation, we'll definitely consider. Don't you worry. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Till tomorrow. Have a great evening ahead. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay at home, respect the lockdown, respect the curfew, it is for our own good and no one else's good. It is for our own good that we stay home and support. By staying home, this is a big support we are extending to our government to contain the situation. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Okay. And today is also observed as Earth Day, 22nd April every year.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a good day, sir.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
We'll speak
Bye.
offline. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Thank you.